What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Tatum Show. It's almost Friday. I can feel it, so I know you guys can feel it. A girl got in trouble for a pro-life poem, and the school should be ashamed of themselves. We're going to talk about that, and I cannot wait to play a poem because it was actually beautiful and sweet. Spencer Pratt's new interview is out of control. I love it. I hope that the LA do the right thing. Wesley Hunt is whooping the socks off of Congress that are claiming that voter ID is the new Jim Crow. So we have to talk about that. A lady died at Tim Hortons after she started a fight. Somebody tell me why a 70-year-old woman is hitting people in their face and then end up dying later on as a result of an altercation. We have to talk about that because y'all know there's racial dynamics to it. But before we get to any of that, we're going to talk more of the fallout in the Kevin Hart roast. Welcome to the Office Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. Welcome back. I want to say I appreciate all of the members. Shout out to everybody that's the membership all the way from being rookies to deputy chiefs. I love you all. I appreciate you all. We're growing by the day, and I just really appreciate y'all's additional support. I know you can watch for free. All of my content is free, but I like to do something special for people who are a little bit more interested in going further with the Tatum brand. So I appreciate you guys. I want to give a special moment of silence for a man who is an incredible man. He died at, I believe he was 89 years old, so he lived a full life. Mr. Bob Woodson, Robert Woodson, was an incredible conservative. I knew him, and I used to love when I used to hear him call, and he go, "Hey, young man, this Bob Woodson." and he just was a great man. And the sad part is, in part, we love him as conservatives. Everybody that got common sense knows Bob Woodson and love him. He was incredibly featured in Uncle Tom 2, I think 1 and 2. Just a great man and very knowledgeable. You know, I think that he should have the respect of a Martin Luther King and all these other leaders that people are showing love to. He should have that same level of respect. He should have a statue. That's what kind of man Bob Woodson was. So I want to do a quick moment of silence for Bob Woodson, and I hope you guys will join me in that moment of silence. All right, R.I.P. Bob Woodson, his family. We love you. We appreciate you, man, and we're going to carry on that legacy for you. Now, from that note to now, I got to get crazy. So I want y'all to put the seatbelt on. If you got to take a shot of espresso, go ahead and take a shot of espresso because it's about to get crazy. Kevin Hart's roast. Now, I watched it. Some of y'all may not be interested in Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart is one of the funniest, most prolific professional comedians. When I say professional, meaning he know how to do his paperwork. He's in movies and all kind of other stuff. But he had a roast, like a Tom Brady roast, and it was good. I thought it was pretty good. A lot of people came up. They were good comedians. They said a lot of impressive things. They said a lot of funny things. Pete Davidson was a nut. He made fun of Charlie Kirk. And it's not really the joke about Charlie Kirk, is that the joke did not land. If you're going to say something like that crazy about Charlie Kirk, you need to make sure the joke land. It did not land. It was a bad joke. The end. Should he get canceled for it? No. It's jokes. It's comedy. Say whatever you want to say. And people have a right to criticize your jokes. And also, people are not talking about Kill Tony made a joke about Charlie Kirk's situation too. Nobody's talking about that because people are biased. But you know who had a problem with all this? It's Chelsea Handler with her nasty. She's just a nasty, I want to say other words, but I'm trying to be a good Christian today. Chelsea Handler is a nut job. This is when a idiotic woman who just dudes are running through like a toll booth, and now she want to be a feminist and act like she's so offended by certain things. And I'm going to embarrass her today. She's not going to be embarrassed because she has no shame. She's a shameless person. But I'm going to embarrass her because she's a hypocrite. And she made this all about race and made it all about her. And she's a liar, and I'm going to prove it to you. I can't stand these people. They virtue signal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Chelsea, you are a garden tool. and you know you are, and every man that slept with you know you are, why are you trying to act as if you somehow have virtue enough to be offended by anything? I'm gonna show you why I'm saying this. People just mess up comedy. All right, play Chelsea Handler's nagging podcast that she's on, and then we're gonna roll it from there. Roll it.
I knew enough about like Tony Hinchcliffe and Shane and their backgrounds. I had ex-girlfriends blowing up my DMs that had dated Shane and were telling me stuff about him. So based on that, I was like, oh, these guys are pretty bad.
So you had something on him that you could have. Tell us now. What
She ain't got nothing.
It's just everything we know, that they're racist, that they're bigots, that they're sexist, you know, that they think they're like invincible, that they've been canceled for being like, you know, Shane got fired from SNL, but then was on SNL years later. So he got fired. So what happened in between those two events? So he believes, this is per one of his exes, that he's invincible. He's like, doesn't
Time
matter.
out.
I can say
No, SNL believes he's invincible. That's why they had him back on the show. All right, keep going.
anything I want.
Yeah. Do you think that now a lot of like white comics, they feel as though that they could say something racist and it's gonna further their career?
Well, yeah, they're going to get in with that group of like Roganites and that Austin group of Joe Rogan and all of those guys. And I just, you know, like that's their MO. Even some girl comics have started to do it, to be like in with that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they say this racist. Yeah, because I'm starting to feel that. I'm starting to feel like it's this thing that a lot of white comics are doing, and there's this group of them that's like they saying things and people, they get famous and then people get on their ass. But then there's another group going, hey, well, you're cool with us for saying what you say.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they become super rich and famous and they sell out all over. And
Time
it's
out.
like,
No, what's happening is that it's comedy, and people are not offended by you dummies over jokes that y'all be telling. Y'all say the same stuff. Y'all say the most offensive stuff. And then now you want to be offended because they're white guys. It's crazy to me, man. I've been watching comedy. Even this guy, I love his set. They say the most racist stuff about white people all the time, and everybody laughs. And because it's a funny joke. But then you say something about a black person, everybody all in their feelings. But let me show you what Chelsea Handler's joke set looked like at the Kevin Hart roast. And I never thought that she would have a problem with any of this because I watched it and I thought her jokes were funny. But this is what she do, and then go on a podcast and play victim. Roll the clip.
Tony is what happens when women don't have safe access to abortion care. Tony and Shane both live in Texas where abortion is illegal, but on the upside, if you see one of them doing comedy, there's a pretty good chance your uterus will start dry heaving on its own. Tony, you have the face of a school shooter and the personality of someone who gets shot first. But it actually looks a little bit better in person. You must be using Crest white supremacist strips. Tony and Shane, this must be so exciting for you guys. Usually on Sunday nights, you just burn a cross on someone's lawn. And tonight you get to roast a whole black guy. Well, a half of one, because it's Kevin. Tony, quick question. If you're here tonight, who's keeping Joe Rogan's balls warm in their mouth?
Now, that's just a little bit of her disgusting thing, but I thought it was funny. These are jokes. She can be that offensive and grotesque, but then she's upset when others say things. I want to go back to her interview where we left off at, because she continues to complain, and I wanted to show y'all her set. So, and that wasn't all of her set. She had way more than that. Roll the clip.
attention to that because, you know, it's not happening like that on the other end. But they're becoming famous over this shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's crazy. So with this whole, so did you feel, I mean, did you like the shit they were saying up there though? Like,
No, I mean, it was ick. It was gross. I don't find those jokes to be funny. Jokes about lynching black people.
Time out.
Or
She said, I don't find it funny, jokes about lynching black people. She literally said that Shane Gillis and them burn crosses in the front yard and they're going to roast a black man on the cross. They're going to burn him alive. That's not lynching. That's burning somebody at a cross. And she was okay joking about that, about these two white guys, about Kevin Hart, who's a black man. And she's on this podcast saying she's offended by lynching jokes. What are you saying, you hamburger heifer? Keep rolling.
Like, lynching is not a joke. That's worse than rape. Like, you're not joking about rape, are you? Are you saying, I'm going to go rape you? You know you can't do that, but you can say lynching? Like, I find that to be, I don't know, people are like, it's a roast, you go for it. I'm like, you can go for it without being gross. Yeah. Like, I find that to be gross. I found them making fun of Cheryl Underwood's, like, dead husband who committed suicide. Like,
skin color.
She's fine with that. If she says she's fine with that, she's fine with that. I wasn't fine with that. I thought that was disgusting too. Wow. But there was so much disgustingness that I knew it was going to be such a, like, gross vibe that I would be able to elevate it, no problem. Yeah. And that's what I went to do. I was like, all right, well, I'll pick it up because they're going to try and bring it down. Yeah. And Kevin didn't deserve that. He deserved, like, an elevated roast.
So let me ask you this. When you see other black people laughing at that, does it make you go, all right, whatever? Or do you think to yourself, what the fuck are they laughing at that for?
I mean, I'm not here to tell black people what's funny about black jokes. Like, no, I'm not here in the world to do that. Like, I know enough to just, that's my opinion. I don't like that. I also don't like the N-word, but I have plenty of black friends who toss that around all the time. It's not my place to say, oh, that word makes me feel uncomfortable. Right. Black people are allowed to do whatever they want. If Kevin thinks that's funny, he thinks that's funny. I don't think it's funny.
Y'all, she told even crazier jokes. She literally said that Kevin Hart is 50 Cent's you know what walking around. She said that man is another man's penis walking around. She said some of the most grotesque and crazy things on that set is crazy. And you hear her saying that. It's insane to me. Now, her complaints of Tony Hinchcliffe and Shane Gillis, I'm going to play a couple of their jokes. And you tell me, was it offensive? And who's laughing at this? Roll the clip.
You've done good, though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
Shane Gillis.
Cheryl Underwood is here. Give it up for Cheryl. Cheryl's husband killed himself. Apparently, black does crack if it's married to Cheryl and jumps off a fucking roof.
Cheryl.
Regina Hall is here. I think her husband's doing well, so we're just going to move on from that. Draymond Green is here. Give it up for Draymond. He plays for the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors logo is a bridge. Don't show that to Cheryl's husband. Seriously, keep that bridge away from Cheryl's husband. Cheryl was in the Air Force, but she couldn't fly. And neither could her husband.
Now, let me put this in perspective for you guys. If you watch the roast, people were going over the fact that other people are writing these jokes and they're reading them. So not every comedian wrote every joke that's on a teleprompter. Some of them were written by other people, like Draymond's jokes were written by somebody else. Other people were written by somebody and they read it through. Let me play Cheryl Underwood's interview with Shane Gillis. And to me, this just encapsulates that Chelsea Handler's a nut job. Listen what Cheryl Underwood said about the whole thing. Roll it.
Every man I've been with, I'm still friends with. I'm like, cool, if they're alive. But I'm still friends.
I left those jokes there.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you honestly? And that's what I've been doing in the interviews is telling people, listen, if they had not come with respect and said these are the topics.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what was going to be said, and I did not know that Tony was going to do the George Floyd joke.
Yeah.
But when he did it, like I was over there like scribbling on paper and asking God, send me the response. Send me the response like the response to you. Send me the response, but I don't want to be mean-spirited. But with Tony and the George Floyd joke, my only feeling is if you don't have the right response that blows up the room even further, you've set back the cause. So sometimes it's say less. If you ain't got nothing good to
Yeah.
cut his throat with, figuratively about comedy,
Yeah.
shut the up.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna make it worse,
Yeah.
in my opinion. What do you think?
I agree. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like especially
So
with
let's fast forward just a little bit because I want
like
to
the
get to
late-
her. I want to get past this part. I
husband.
want to get to her part again where she kind of readdresses this.
Equalizes stress. It's the most uncomfortable humor that really kind of it kind of lessens the tension and the stress. When you say,
Yeah, absolutely.
do you feel you've ever gone too far in something?
Yeah, for sure. But then you're like, as soon as you do it in a club, as soon as you're wrong, you go,
For the people who are upset and on social media, I feel like you have a right to be that, because now I get to talk about mental illness in men, and specifically Black men, that men feel, I don't need therapy, I don't need this, I don't need that, right, in this society. But people say, well, how could you sit there? Oh, it was offensive. Well, don't be offended for me if I'm not offended, but be offended for your point of view. And you can have your point of view.
Yeah.
We're not saying you can't have it. Have it all on social media.
Now, I want to put another thing in perspective. Cheryl actually killed it. She was the funniest person at his roast. I didn't think she was. She was over there laughing. They were roasting her. But when Cheryl got up, she whooped everybody in the roast. And then I think Tony Hinchcliffe, or what is Hinchcliffe, or whatever his name is, Kill Tony Hinchcliffe. I don't know that name. I don't even know. I just know him as Kill Tony. Yeah, I think I saw his name somewhere. Kill Tony killed it. I think he was second. And one of Kevin Hart's friends was third. No. He was second. The one guy with the fingernail paint, I can't remember his name. He had a pierce in his nose. He had fingernail paint. He was third. And then Kevin Hart's friend was fourth. So, like, Chelsea Handler wasn't even in the top. So, what a D-bag. Doing all this stuff and complaining. Let me just play one more thing about this because I know I'm belaboring the point. The Wayans brothers, they had something very quick to say about this, and I agree with them 100% when it comes to jokes. Roll it. And the same thing when it comes to Charlie Kirk. That's too soon. George Floyd died like 5 years ago. I don't know when he died. Charlie Kirk just got assassinated probably 6-7 months ago. Probably 7 months ago. That's too soon. It was gruesome. It was an assassination attempt for a man just giving his piece on a campus. And George Floyd and that was too. George Floyd was a crackhead. Now, I'm not saying his life don't matter to God more, but his value to society was a lot lower than Charlie Kirk's. And so him dying was, if it wasn't a white man on his back when he died, y'all wouldn't even care. Put that on something. Yeah, they wouldn't even care. Men be getting killed every day in the hood, but they don't even care. But it's because they can make a racial tension about it. They didn't say nothing when George Floyd was robbing people. They said nothing when he was going in and out of prison. They said nothing at the fact that he didn't appear to be there for his children. But when the white cop is involved, let's care about George Floyd, make him a statue. All right. Let's get to another topic. I think this one is one of those things where you need to put your seatbelt on. And I stand by this young lady. It's the abortion poem. So this young lady was at school. And these leftist school systems are so terrible because she's at school, and there was some context to this. I think I didn't have it down, but allegedly in this classroom, children can write poems about LGBTQ, anti-Second Amendment, other crazy lunatic type stuff. They can write a poem about it. But the young girl want to write a poem in supporting life, which every kid in that room, mama, or supported life. That's why they were there. The very thing that makes society grow, move, and shake, she can't even talk about in the class because somebody gonna be offended. I'm gonna let her say her part, and then we're gonna listen to a poem so the world can hear it, since the teacher's too stupid to let her do it. Roll a clip.
My teacher assigned an assignment in class to write a slam poem about a conflict in the world that we are passionate about. I chose life. I chose this topic because it's important to me and my family. In my poem, I met all of the criteria, I got reputable resources, and I included everything that I needed in my poem. But when I asked my teacher if I could present it, she said no. This is when my mom had to step in.
I immediately emailed the teacher and I asked her to call me. It took till the next day for her to call me. They said that because of the offensive material in the poem that they were not going to allow her to present. And I pushed back on them because not only were they presenting a lot of political material themselves, but they were presenting it as truth. They brought up issues like racial issues. They had LGBTQ rights, immigration. To that, they said, sorry, no, this is too political. We are not going to allow it. And so here we are, just telling our story.
When I further asked my teacher about why I could not present, she said that I would not be able to be even in the class while my fellow classmates are presenting their poems, and that I would have to sit outside. But when I further questioned her, she finally said that I could be in the class to listen.
Now let's listen as a community of what this beautiful poem was. And I heard the first half of it and I said, what is offensive about this? It's actually beautiful. Like everybody experiences this. And they shame you for this? Come on, put it on there. Let her, come on, sis, roll it.
A life is a life, no matter how small. 73 million people have been killed in 1 year and will be killed again this year, if not more, when they are completely innocent humans. They never get to see the light of day before they are cast away. They did nothing wrong except exist and were dismissed. People say women in healthcare but never think how unfair. They kill a baby for simply being there. The Word of God says, "You knit me together in my mother's womb. How come we never listen to this and try to send them to a tomb? I am fearfully, wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. His works are wonderful." A person is a person no matter how small. A life is a life no matter how small. We often forget this important detail. This detail could save a life. 60% of babies who weren't intended have died because of this. Why do people kill these innocent babies with a pill? Why do people say babies in the womb are a mistake, a thing that needs to be gotten rid of? Why? When you ask someone, is murder bad? They say yes, of course. But how come when you say murdering innocent babies is bad, they shame you? They say women's rights in healthcare, but what about the baby's rights? That's what's unfair. From the moment they are created, they are a human person. They are created in God's image. People say women's rights in healthcare, they say it's just a clump of cells, but no one dwells on the fact that a baby still has a heartbeat at 6 weeks. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing compares to the love a mother has for her baby. So just maybe, we let them have a chance to live and that love will grow. Destruction, dismay, dread. When will people comprehend that this needs to come to an end? A life is a life, no matter how small.
How is that? I'm finna have a stroke. How is that a problem? Because I guarantee you, if that young lady would celebrate the unaliving of the unborn, they would be happy for her. Pat her on the back. You go, girl. Women's rights. Why can't we live in reality? It is not okay to take the life of an unborn child because you don't want the child. That's not okay. And let me explain this. That doesn't mean you're a devil and you're evil, because some people are manipulated, but let's show you a better way. There's a better way than going to Planned Parenthood. There's a better way than taking the pill. There's ways to prevent getting in a situation in the first place. But if you find yourself in a situation, let's help you do the right thing. Taking the life of your baby is not the right thing to do. It is an acceptable thing we do in society that's wrong. And I tell you what, every woman that, unless they're completely selfish, every woman, if they were presented the opportunity, they said, look, I can't take care of this baby. And we say, look, we will help you, or we could give your baby up for adoption. I think 80% of women would say, please do that. I think probably 10% of women are completely outrageously selfish, and they're not thinking about nothing but themselves, their body, their image, all this other stuff, and they would choose abortion no matter what. And the other 10%, in my opinion, is because they've been convinced that it's just a clump of cells and all of the above, and they make that decision. And I'm not the person that want to go to Planned Parenthood and say, you going to hell. I'm the type of person that say, if I'm going to tell you and convince you or motivate you to continue with this pregnancy, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to shame you. There's a better way. Let me help you. Do I got to help financially? I can put a little bit in on it. Can I help you facilitate the process for you to get financial help? Can I help facilitate the process where you can get into your child into an adoption? Then I'm here. I ain't gonna tell you something to do if I'm not gonna help in some way. I can point you in the direction of a parenting center that can help you with resources, help you do the ultrasound, help you with the cost. I could give you some advice on maybe what you and that boy should be talking about. Because a lot of times they go, men don't have no say in it. So young men don't know what to do. They do what you want to do. I ain't got nothing to do. I can't even tell you to do it or not. And that's not the right approach either. Because on this other side, I'm willing to teach young men to take care of your responsibilities. Teach young men what it means to own up to the things you do. How do you know, Mr. Tatum? Because I had to do it. I could have scapegoated. I could have said, no, I'm finna be embarrassed. Look how embarrassed I'm gonna be. I'm in the church. I'm singing in the choir. I'm ushering. I'm Mr. Tatum, Brandon Tatum, Mr. Saved, Sanctified, Holy Ghost filled. I'm finna have to embarrass myself in front of the whole church. I went to a holiness church. I gotta tell my daddy. I gotta tell my pastor. All my teammates that got saved, a lot of them got saved because they saw what God did in my life. Now I'm gonna have to eat crow in front of everybody. I could have saved face. No, you go on and do it. I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't gonna help you. I go on and do it. I didn't do that. I said, I made my bed, I gotta lay in it. It took two to tango. It bothers me that, anyway, I can go down the list. Let's go to Wesley. So we got to talk about this other situation, but before we get there, I want to tell you guys about Verdict Bourbon. If you're looking for a good bourbon, the best bourbon on the market, I'm telling you, go look at the reviews, don't listen to me. Great bourbon, straight 6-year, smooth, flavorful. And then you also have the 6-year, same mash bill, just with brown sugar in it. So if you like it a little sweet like our old fashioned, we got you covered. We have, we probably hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews at this point. VerdictBourbon.com, get you some bourbon a day, baby. All right, let's get to Wesley Hunt because I think this is important too. This is an important cultural issue that we need to talk about. And that is the Democrats pushing this Jim Crow stuff and associating with voting. Let's put my boy up on the screen. We're going to put Hank on there first. Hank Johnson is the dumbest person in Congress ever to exist. It was an island somewhere. That fool thought if it was too many people on it, the island would flip over. I swear, God is my witness. I put that on my life. That he said this in a congressional hearing. That fool thinking if you on too many people, the island gonna tip over like this. This guy is the dumbest guy in Congress. Sheila Jackson Lee was number 2. I remember I made a video, got millions of views because Sheila Jackson Lee didn't know the difference between a 5.56 and a 50 cal. She's so stupid. All right, put him on there. Roll it.
Where some enjoy easy access to the ballot, others are forced to overcome legal barriers designed to make our voices quieter. Our nation is now in Jim Crow 2.0. We are a nation where the right to vote once again can be diluted, restricted, or simply ignored, and where the voices of rich and powerful people carry more weight than the voices of ordinary Americans, but particularly Americans who look like me. Our 250-year experiment in self-governance can only succeed if Americans decide that the clock has run out on the far right's attempt to overturn our democracy. So we can either sit back as our Supreme Court continues to act without any restraint or checks and balances, or we can do something about it.
Shut your silly self up, boy. You too old to be that silly. When you got gray hair, you ain't no excuse to be that silly. The people that look like me don't have access to voting. What? Do you know what kind of loogie you spitting in the face of our ancestors? I'm talking about from way down here, right in the face of all these black people who died for us to vote. And to this day, we can go right down there and get your ID and register to vote like that. And then all you gotta do is go, this is my address, this is the voting place. You walk right over there and vote. How we ain't able to vote? Show me a black man that can't vote. The Negro voted for the Democrats. They ain't had no problem voting for Democrats, but somehow they got a problem with voting today. They had a problem when they voted for Obama. They had a problem when they voted for Joe Biden. They didn't have a problem with Clinton. They didn't have a problem with Kamala Harris' sorry self. Where is this mysterious inability for black people to vote? Look at all these black people in Congress. Y'all sorry, boy. Come on, I want Wesley Hunt. Come on, brother.
My own father, who grew up in a segregated South, had to walk around to the back of a restaurant just to order a sandwich because of the color of his skin. That was Jim Crow. And that is precisely why it is so offensive to compare that era of legalized discrimination and racial terror to showing a photo ID in a voting booth. And it's just as offensive when groups and organizations like these manufacture faux hate and racial tension. Requiring identification to vote is not oppression. It is not segregation. It is not racism. It is a basic standard that applies equally to every single American citizen, regardless of what you look like. You need an ID to board a plane. You need an ID to cash a check. You need an ID to buy alcohol. You need an ID to enter these very federal buildings. And by the way, attaining an ID in this country is an extremely low bar. But somehow showing an ID to vote in America is now considered to be Jim Crow 2.0. This is not about civil rights. This is about political theater. And the Democrat Party survives on manufacturing grievance.
Come on. Come on. Drop the clergy collar, whatever you got to drop it. Drop the mic, drop the podium, drop the building. Got that. Like, he made a point that I haven't thought about yet, and I've been to the Capitol building probably 7 times now. You have to have ID. So that means that the Capitol building is racist because somehow they think we still monkeys. Me no ID. So we can't get in the Capitol building. If you go to any event at the White House, you have to go and get checked through Secret Service. I have been to the White House I don't know how many times. There were thousands of black people that have been to the White House for black events specifically. And ain't nobody complaining about going through Secret Service with your identification and your Social Security number. You got to fill out a whole thing so they can do a background check on you. Y'all stupid, boy. Y'all gonna pay for this one day. Y'all gonna pay for this one day. Salvation is gonna be turned away from y'all lying devils. Come on, Wesley. Wesley got the last part. And I want to play this just about a minute and a half. A little bit over a minute and a half. Roll it.
This is Jim Crow. This is what Democrats call Jim Crow. Next slide, please. See, that is Jim Crow. For whatever reason, this is what Democrats call Jim Crow. Next slide, please. That is Jim Crow. This is what Democrats call Jim Crow. I know that some of these images can seem to be very jarring to many of us that haven't experienced that over the course of the past 40 years of my lifetime. I never saw these things. I never experienced them personally, but I have family members who have and who did. And that's why it is extraordinarily important for us to be very, very careful with what we compare to Jim Crow, because this country has come a very, very long way. I keep saying this over and over and over and over again till I am blue in the face. I represent a white majority district along with 3 of my other black colleagues here in Congress. And you know what? Nobody cares about what we look like. We are being judged not by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character, because we've come a long way from this. I don't want to go back to that. In fact, I want to continue on the path that America has set forward in the name of Jesus Christ.
Come on.
And I want to let people know that we don't need to be angry. We don't need to be divided. We want equality for everyone. Let me be crystal clear. This is not 1960 anymore. It's 2026. And the fact that groups like these are willing to stoke the flames of hate by funding the KKK is absurd.
Come on, man. I can turn my podcast off and never do the podcast again. That he has said it all. He said it all. Why are we here, ladies and gentlemen? This country is not a racist nation. We passed that point. There's some idiots out there that's still racist on both sides. I see it in my comment section. There's some nut jobs in my comment section saying racist stuff against me and also against other people. There's idiots that are going to forever live on earth. As long as people have free will and we're in a nation of freedom and freedom of expression, there's going to be people that are racist. And it's not against the law for you to be racist. It's against the law for you to push racial stuff on other people. Nobody tell you can hate who you want to hate. You the dummy that want to live with hate in your heart. It's only until you start discriminating against other people and start being prejudiced against other people and start utilizing your hate against other people, and that's when it becomes a crime. Be stupid all you want, but keep that stuff to yourself. All right, let's get to Spencer Pratt. Let's go to Spencer Pratt real quick because Spencer Pratt is on fire, and I want him to win in L.A. Come on. I don't live in L.A., but I'm going to start going back to L.A. if Spencer Pratt wins. And I want to also, let's not forget, I want to do Spencer Pratt, and I want to do the video about that lady who was dumb enough to fight these people at that store. All right, let's talk about Spencer Pratt real quick. I'm going to play his Fresh Prince of Bel-Air video because it was hilarious. And then we're going to play a little bit of his interview where he just smoked them. Roll the clip.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I had to take a minute to run for mayor. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel-Air. In West Los Angeles, Palisades, in my backyard is where I spent most of my days, feeding hummingbirds, relaxing all cool, avoiding all the bums outside of the school. When a couple politicians who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood, I got in one little fire. My mom got scared and said, "You're moving in with Harvey Levin in Bel-Air." I pulled out from my lot about 7 or 8, and I yelled to the rubble, "Yo ho, smell you later." I moved to my kingdom, I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel-Air.
He should have did the little head thing. Like that was my favorite part. But anyway, let's get to this interview because he's spanking the socks off these people. Roll it.
Why are you a Republican?
Well, you want to break some news here?
Sure.
When I was a hated reality star,
Yeah.
I got so many death threats. I had so much security and police, and what did they tell me to do? Get a gun. This is real. I know people don't like guns, but LA was dangerous if you're hated. So I got a gun. My wife got a gun. And then we needed CCWs. The only people that supported a CCW was the Republican.
That was what I aligned with, my safety, my personal safety, my family's safety. I know people don't like guns, but when people are threatening your life and your own security is telling you you need to have home protection, train to, it's not like just I went to the, go through the proper steps. That was my, that's it.
And
period.
that was it. And you
That's
felt
it.
like that party was more pro Second Amendment.
And I know that's a very hot button, but here's the thing. I'm also going to be the mayor that puts LAPD in front of every school to make schools safe from guns. Right now we
You
have
enough officers to do that?
I talked to a very knowledgeable law enforcement. All you have to do is pick one patrol unit and you give them a nice pin that connects to that school, and that's their street. So they add that one. So that's already part of mine, just because obviously I know people don't like guns, and we need to make everything, especially schools, safe. But that is where I connect to, and once you feel fear and it's real, you want to protect your family.
Next clip.
You've studied politics. You've got a degree in politics from USC. Fight on that.
Everyone wants me to do that in photos now. I'm like, okay.
Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I mean, that's what. Yeah,
he was a politician. He had to, he had to go in and.
Are there any modern politicians that you're especially studying or drawn to?
No, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I want to be a fighter for the people.
But you've mentioned though that
Obama. I'm most similar to Obama.
Okay.
And I know the View lady said I don't have a law degree, so I'm going to work on that online in the next before November. I probably can get one. Do the baby bar.
All right, next clip.
Would you live at the mayor's home, the residence in Hancock Park?
Absolutely not, because we have a housing bed issue. So I'm going to use all the beds in that mansion for these single mothers that we keep hearing about that are living on the street, or veterans. So I'll also turn the tennis court. I'm going to put prefab, beautiful though, not like, not the ones they're spending $250,000 you could get at Home Depot that these DSA people are putting on people's streets. No, I'm going to put lovely, like that the Yimbys would love, right there on the tennis courts. No, I will not live there.
So you're going to turn the mayor's house into housing for homeless people?
Single mothers.
Single mothers.
Not drug addicts. And drug addicts need to go get treatment.
And where would you live?
I will be where they are very upset that I'm not out every night in the Palisades.
Okay.
But I need a fence. We need to connect the water. People don't realize, guess how much I had to spend out of my own pocket that I don't have to put the foundation to put an Airstream on there? $32,000. It took 1 month to get one wire from LADW to connect it. I'm still working to get water into the Airstream. So this idea that all this red tape, it's so easy to rebuild, I can't even get this as a functioning base, but I'm going to stay in the Palisades the most of the time.
Yeah, I like that. Make it the people's house. These people, fat cats living in the house, getting all this money. I can't stand that. Now, is he going to do it? I don't know, but it sure sounds good. Let's roll this last. I think this is the last clip of him. What separates him from other candidates? Roll it.
For people that are trying to determine, what is one word that separates you from your competitors?
Truth.
There you go.
It's a good word.
But also, we got a couple clips about him with some of the residents in the black neighborhood, because I want to play those too. Because I'm not saying that Jordan on my team did this, but I had noticed that I hadn't seen Spencer Pratt in the black community. Like, there was nobody black around him, pretty much. And I don't watch everything he do, but that was kind of something I noticed. And then Jordan told me, she mentioned to the staff, hey, man, you guys need to get more involved in the black community. Like, that's a big part of winning L.A. is getting involved in the black community. I'm not talking about the dummies. I'm talking about good black people who are out here, got an open mind. They want what's best for their city. They're not married to the Democrat Party. I'm not saying it was her, but after she said that, and after she told me she said it, now I see this, which I'm grateful for, because it ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't live in L.A., but I do want this man to win. Just listen to a couple clips of him in the black community now. Roll it.
I'm gonna meet with him like it's 8 years of a lot of just.
You probably didn't even expect to be doing
this. I just wanted to fight these people, and I didn't expect the momentum of the people behind me. I was just doing it on my own for my family, my community, just to expose what I knew, and then it just built. So I never thought I'd be the mayor in 13 days.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I knew a guy, man, that he was formerly incarcerated as well. And he was just so disappointed with Karen Bass. He said, man, I'm finna run for mayor. He called me one night there talking about he finna run for mayor, right? I'm like, well, I'm gonna vote for you then, right?
That's what I keep saying. It's me or Karen, you know. It's an easy pick.
Yeah, well, we don't need no more time for that.
All right, next clip is another one. Really good one. Roll it.
Our kids are not safe. Our kids are not safe. We're not safe. You know, so I'm glad to meet you. My name is Miss Clay. We're glad to meet you.
Great to meet you. My
John? Thank you. Yes, we need to make a change. Like Martin Luther said, make a change. You know, it's not about different races and stuff like that. We need help. We need help in the communities. We need help, especially about the kids.
And that's all a politician really should be focused on, is helping the people. And that's what this is. Stop voting for people because of the color of their skin and all that little crazy stuff, man. What are you going to do for the community? Are you sensible in the things that you're saying? Are you reasonable? Can you really achieve the things you claim you can achieve? And if you can, people should vote for you because you're what's best. I think we need to get rid of this party system stuff. Forget the Republican Democrat crap, man. Then tell me what you're working with, what you're doing, what you're going to do for us. All right, that's what you're going to do? Okay, I like that idea. Can you actually accomplish it? Let's go for it. All right, I got a short period of time here. I'm going to try to wrap it up fast, but our last story is the Tim Horton death. The young lady at Tim Horton. I didn't even know what Tim Hortons was. I guess it's a convenience store. But it's a coffee shop. So this lady, let me just say this because I have to preface it before y'all get mad at me. It's going viral. This black lady was 70-some-year-old woman, went into Tim Hortons, got into an altercation with two white people. That's the only reason why people care about it, because it's white and black. And she ended up dying later. Now, the coroner hadn't decided that she died because of the altercation. That hasn't been determined. It doesn't appear that she died because of altercation because she didn't die there. She was at the hospital, and later she ended up dying, probably for other complications, being 75 years old, fighting with people at a coffee shop. But I will say this. It's sad. If this was my grandmother, my auntie, I'd be sad. I'd be very upset that she lost her life. I would be. But at the same time, I'm not going to get on TV and lie. This woman shouldn't have went in there and hit that girl. That 70-year-old woman know better than to go punch a girl in the face at the store because she mad at something in the drive-thru. You too old to be acting like that. So don't blame the young girl for defending herself. Let's get to the news clip. Roll it.
Online outrage continuing to grow tonight after a video surfaced appearing to show the moments leading up to a woman's death at a Fort Wayne Tim Hortons.
The video appears to be tied to an altercation reported there last Wednesday that remains under police investigation. Wayne 15's Mia Pettigrew has the latest.
Nearly a week after the reported battery at this Tim Hortons, video appearing to show the altercation has been circulating online as the woman's family and community members push for answers. Fort Wayne police say officers were called to the Tim Hortons on Ice Way just after 8 a.m. Wednesday morning for what they describe as an altercation involving a reported battery. Investigators say the woman involved became unresponsive before officers were able to speak with her. She was taken to a hospital where she later died. While police have not officially identified her, family members online say the woman was 75-year-old Anita Grayson. Police say detectives have interviewed witnesses, collected surveillance footage, and processed evidence from the scene as the investigation continues. Wayne 15 does not have permission to show the full video, but these screen grabs appear to show a verbal confrontation between Grayson and an employee behind the counter before the situation becomes physical. It also shows the employee come from around the corner and repeatedly strike Grayson as the two fall near the front of the restaurant. Another employee is later seen approaching before a third person eventually pulls them away. Today, the restaurant's dining room remained closed while drive-through service
Enough of that news. It's funny that as you listen to what this reporter says, even though they're supposed to be impartial, they did not mention that that woman punched that girl in the face first. Now, let's play this together and watch it together because I want you to see exactly what happens. She went through the drive-thru first, and now she's in the store. That tells you a lot about what happens. If you got an issue that you think you want to be physical, then you don't go in the store and do this. This woman is standing almost back there behind the counter yelling at somebody. It looks like the person's putting their hands up saying, I don't want to stop, please. They're explaining it. She's asked to leave. I could just say it right there. Now, what does she do? She put her hands all in that girl's face. Look at her. And they're yelling at each other. Black lady pushed her. Then she hits her in the face. Boom. Like, time out. Hit her in the face. Look at her face. Now, I'm not excusing this situation because I wouldn't get in an altercation with a 70-year-old woman. But you cannot act like this woman just did not do nothing. She hit the girl in the face. And then the altercation ensued. That grandma wasn't ready for her. You probably struggling with comorbidities. Why you hit that young girl like that? And I would have asked the young girl, if I'm sure she can go back, don't just let it go, girl. They don't pay you enough to be in an altercation with nobody. Just let it go. Call the police. I don't know what they're circling at the screen, but what is that? She pulled out grandma head or grandma put out the? Oh, grandma put, so grandma fighting the girl so much she pulled her hair out. And she probably got so worked up that she ended up probably, passing out. Now, here's her kids and other protesters. This is what they have to say. And I'll say it again. It's unfortunate. I don't like to see nobody die because it's final. If people can change things, grandma should have never took her butt in that store yelling and screaming at people and acting a fool. You're too old to be doing that. And if I can go back to the employees there, I'd say, look, just call the police. You don't want this woman injury or death on your consciousness. Call the police, have the woman removed. In many cases, police ain't never gonna show up, so that's probably why a lot of people don't call anyway. But instead of people saying and having a reasonable perspective and holding others accountable for the things that they actually are doing, this is what they do. Roll it.
You 17-year-old, you put your hands on my auntie, take your to jail. And that's how I feel, and I'm done. Cut.
It's one-sided. Nita's not here. She can't say what happened. She
We
can't
saw what
speak a
happened.
word. But everything that's coming out, whether it be the police department, the news, or whatever office, is what they're saying. It's almost as if nobody's concerned about what happened to Nita and what would she say happened. We getting one-sided opinion, and then they're trying to justify it as if to say this is what happened because this is what this group says. And that's not fair.
I want justice for my mom. Y'all cannot deny it. Everybody that's seen what happened to her. Is this how we treat our elderly people in the community?
Family members and protesters here say they believe the video released by police was edited and are accusing the city of lacking transparency throughout the investigation.
The police went into the what is that place called? Tom Horton? They went into Tim Horton and edited the video. The police don't care about y'all. I'm telling you. When I was a cop, ain't no way we finna edit them for none of y'all. We had nothing to do with your crimes. We just come here to enforce the law, baby. Ain't nobody got time to sit down with a tape recorder and go and edit a video out from the recording, from the DVR at the place. So we're gonna take the DVR, we're gonna pull the DVR out of the wall, we're gonna put it in our patrol car, we're gonna take it to the station, Somebody, instead of being at work, they're going to go back there behind the scenes, try to figure out how to work the DVR, and they're going to try to get it up on a computer screen, and they're going to have to download Adobe Editor or something, and somehow they know how to edit a video. So they're going to edit out the video to make these white people look good. That's what you saying happened. Instead of saying grandma had no business doing that. Just don't say nothing, man. Like man, if one of my family members do something, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not lying to you. One of my family members do something that's crazy, I'm probably not gonna talk about it, right? I'm just being honest. That's my kinfolk. All y'all, I ain't gonna stop y'all from talking about it, but I ain't finna talk about my own kinfolk. But if I do have to talk about my own kinfolk, I ain't finna lie. If it get viral enough, and I need to say something. If my kinfolk messing up, I ain't finna lie. I'm gonna give my opinion and let y'all give y'all's. But I ain't finna lie. He ain't do nothing. He ain't deserve all that. I'm gonna leave all that out. I'm just gonna give you the facts. This is what happened. That's it. Y'all on here lying on your grandma and everybody see the video make your grandma look like she was a bad person. You should have just said, I wish that this didn't happen. It was unfortunate. I wish grandma hadn't gotten upset. I want to know what they said to her to make my grandma act like that, because my grandma don't normally act like that, if your grandma don't normally act like that. But I grew up in an inner city community, and my big mama was mean like that. At least the little part I knew about my big mama, she was mean. My big mama didn't play. I remember my uncle, he was my great uncle, rest his soul. He went in Big Mama's house. I think he said something crazy to Big Mama. He was drinking. She hit him in the head with a 2x4. Blam. Big Mama wasn't playing. He had to sleep out he had to sleep out there in the laundry room. Big Mama said, "You ain't coming in my house drinking. You gonna sleep out there?" And that's our son. You gonna sleep out there in the laundry room. My uncle had a bed in the laundry room. Big Mama ain't playing with you. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody said, "Yo, Big Mama did this," Big Mama did. She ain't playing. Now, see, the difference between that Big Mama and my Big Mama would have won that fight. I'm just saying, Big Mama would have won that one. Nobody want to mess with Big Mama. She'd have won that one. Anyway, it's her daughter. Now, stop in the name of the law. Do y'all notice something consistent? Because I think that, look at her size. Look at her size. You saw Big Mama size. Go back to the other video with the other ladies in there. We already saw Big Mama. Go to the video with the witnesses stuff. Look at her size. She chubby. Go to the other video. I think there was another one in there. Whatever. When they were playing a succession of videos, these women thick, and this is not healthy. And the per capita obesity rate in the black community is too high. And it should be, this should be a priority instead of getting on there protesting about something crazy. Roll the clip. Let's see what the daughter had to say. Then I'm out.
My mother was wronged in the worst way.
75-year-old Anita Grayson's daughter says her mother's death last Wednesday left her angry and frustrated with a lot of questions.
I lost the matriarch of my family. I just called out to God, like, we need to see it. I have to see that. Please show me, because I need to at least know how, why, what.
She says an anonymous person texted this video from inside to another family member. She posted it online. Others reposted.
Did you notice that her mama hitting that lady wasn't on this post? This the type of stuff, and I'm done, and I'll be done with the show. This the type of stuff that grinds my gears, bro. Somebody saw that full video that we just showed. They saw grandma push that girl and hit her in the face. They cropped it out and posted it online. So you got people thinking that this white girl just beat up this grandma. And then what happens when you lie, you got a picture of a 17-year-old white girl beating up a black grandma and nobody getting arrested. And people are like, see, man, the justice system is wrong, man. If that was a black woman, they'd be arresting them. Somebody edited the video. Got a whole generation of people stupid because somebody edited a video. This is why when you watch the video, if you see that there's no arrest made, you say, could there be more to this video? Am I missing something? Maybe I should let the police give an explanation of why they haven't arrested anybody first. And if their explanation is sufficient, then I can receive that. If it's not sufficient, then I can complain. But when it's too juicy, you always got to look into it. But that's the end of the show. I love you guys. We're going to try to hit post-show clarity. Shout out to Synergy. I drink Synergy probably every single day. I be messing up when I travel. I forget to take it with me, and then I'm miserable. But every day on the show, y'all see me drinking it. Synergy, incredible, healthy, natural energy drink. We formulated this from the ground up. There's not no white label. The formulator, Steve, lived down the street from here. And he is one of the coldest in the game. Anyway, daytime if you want good energy, nighttime if you want good sleep. Love you guys. I'll see you on the other side on Post Show Clarity.